What's up, YouTube? It is your boy. Welcome back to the Killer Squad. Loki episode 6, final preview. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead.
How's it going, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, and tonight is the night, the Loki series finale. A lot is about to go down, and the MCU is about to be changed forever. Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, has already stated that Loki is an extremely important series. In fact, he said it was the most important series so far, and it's going to have a big impact on the MCU. And we can probably assume that the TVA is going to be taken down and no longer exist after the finale, essentially causing the multiverse to reappear. That is, unless the TVA was lying and they actually didn't prevent the multiverse and there's been a multiverse this entire time. However, I do believe there is one sacred timeline, but after this, it's just going to blow up. And that's what we're here to talk about today, the Loki scenes that we have not seen yet that have been shown to us in the trailers, break those down, and talk about our final predictions on what is going to happen during this finale, who exactly is going to be the villain, and what is going to happen moving forward. I'll break down the best predictions on what we're going to see tonight in this video. Also, I'll be having my watch party at 11:30 Pacific time tonight if you want to join me. And of course, if you love Marvel, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos. Now, first things first, I want to clarify one scene because those people over at Marvel Studios are super sneaky. A lot of people have been posting online the scenes that we haven't seen yet, and usually what's included is this scene right here. Loki about to walk through a portal with some rocks behind it. However, this photo is a lie. It is simply an edited scene that they edited to put in the trailer and not give away Sylvie. I believe
Wait, so episode 6 is the final?
This was in the very first trailer before everybody knew about Sylvie, so they obviously did not want her in it. But in reality, it is this scene right here, where Loki and Sylvie are on Lamentis, and they get taken by the TVA or saved, depending on how you look at it. But the two portals open up, and the two of them go through the portals. Sylvie and the other portals have simply been edited out. And from here, we pretty much go in order of scenes that we haven't seen yet. At the end of Loki episode 5, Loki and Sylvie enchanted Eliath, removing him from what he was protecting, a castle and the person in charge of the TVA. And thanks to these scenes, we know that Loki and Sylvie get inside the castle. As we see here, Loki walks right up to the front door, and we could probably assume that Sylvie is with him, but she has been edited out of this trailer shot as well to avoid spoilers. They were holding hands the last time we saw them, so I assume they're going in together. Now, as Loki gets in, he goes through a very long hallway. And you can notice on the very front door and in the halls and on the floor, it looks like it's cracking. Like it's breaking, almost like reality is breaking. And I have a theory that these cracks could actually be caused by branch realities being created, therefore kind of putting a crack in the sacred timeline. And since this castle is made by whoever controls the sacred timeline, the power could be connected. We know this because in the mid-season trailer that Marvel gave us, in the very beginning, it starts off by showing us the sacred timeline. It looks like it's in the middle of space, or could it be in the quantum realm? That is one theory. But next to it, we see a rock. But this is more like a giant floating meteor rock, because as we see on top of it, there is a yellow glow. And this yellow glow is the tower of the castle that Loki and Sylvie are about to go into, where the creator of the TVA and the sacred timeline is. Then we have a scene with Sylvie inside of the castle, and it definitely looks like she's fighting. However, it looks like this scene is most likely edited as well. But notice what the background looks like. It actually kind of looks like Doctor Strange's sanctum. Now, there have been theories that Doctor Strange or a master of the mystic arts could be behind all of this, but I don't think so. I think more than likely, and now more than ever, we still only have two options of who the actual villain is of the Loki series. However, I will discuss three theories. Two that I think are very likely, and one that is actually likely, but I don't really want to happen. It will honestly break my heart. But we'll get to that. Let's first talk about King Loki.
Right.
Now, we actually have a picture of King Loki from the trailers, and this was actually shown in a few different trailers. As we see here, it looks like he is clearly king of Asgard. Other Asgardians are beside him, most likely royalty or diplomats, and they are clapping for him. It is very obvious that he is the ruler. It looks like this could be our villain. However, as we know, Marvel does like to deceive. This could simply be a scene where whoever the main villain is showing Loki what he could have. Obviously, whoever controls the sacred timeline could tell Loki, hey, I control everything. I can send you in your own timeline and you can do whatever you want. You can rule Asgard, you can rule Earth, whatever you want, I'll make it happen. But knowing our Loki, that's not really going to be good enough for him. Or Sylvie. They don't want to be a part of the TVA or a part of whatever this time creator has made. They want freedom. They want chaos. They don't want to be controlled. They don't want to have a destiny. Which is why it would make perfect sense that a King Loki could be the villain. Because Loki is the person who wants control. They don't want to be controlled, but they want control. They believe that they are destined to rule, and they believe that it is easier for people when they are being ruled. And since the show is all about Loki, it would make perfect sense that, in the end, the villain is a Loki variant. We also have a scene where Loki is looking into some sort of an object. He turns around and says, glorious. And there's quite a debate on what this scene could actually be. Some people think that, due to the background, it looks like he's still inside of the Stark Tower. And this could be some sort of a flashback to something he said, or he could go back in time and actually win. Whereas, some people think that this is some sort of a magical object that lets him see through different parts of time. Perhaps this is our Loki dressed in his Asgardian gear, and again, somebody could be showing him something that could come true, a life that he could have. But at the same time, I think this actually could be a King Loki looking through this object, monitoring our Loki and Sylvie, and when they finally get to him, he turns and says, glorious. It's very hard to tell from this quick little 1-second scene, but of course, it will all be revealed tonight. Now, the second prediction of who the main villain could be is the one that I really don't like, because it's the theory that Sylvie could actually be the villain. In the end, it was Sylvie all along, and she'll end up betraying our Loki. Now, I really don't want this to happen because I think as far as character arc is concerned, our Loki is really grown.
Sylvie's Loki. She alright.
I do think he really does love Sylvie, in whatever way that may be.
Right.
But she does seem to be more on top of things than our Loki, and after all, she had been planting her plot of revenge for a very, very long time since she was taken by the TVA as a little girl. This will definitely be sad to see, and honestly, our Loki could even betray her, which is something that I really don't want to see either. I either want to see the two of them get together in some way, shape, or form, however weird that may be, or I want to see them part ways happily. But I really want Sylvie to stick around for a long time. There's been word that season 2 for Loki has been confirmed, and it would be great if our Loki and Sylvie could come back for that. Now, for the third theory of who the villain could be is actually the theory that I've been stating since the very beginning of the series. However, I give you a new twist. I still believe it's Kang. However, I think it is a variant of Kang and not the true Kang that we're going to be seeing in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Who I believe this character could actually be is Immortus. And the reason is, I think there has been too much evidence pointing towards Kang for Kang not to be involved in some way, shape, or form.
Okay,
now, for those of you who may not know, Nathaniel Richards is actually Kang's name. And Nathaniel Richards has actually had many different names depending on where in time he is at and what he's doing. He's been the Pharaoh Rama-Tut, and when he started conquering, he deemed himself King the Conqueror. Then at one point in time, he becomes Immortus, and that's who I think we may be seeing. Because listen to this story. In the comics, King the Conqueror has done a pretty good job, and he's conquered a lot of different planets and timelines. Then, the 3 Timekeepers, who are the only living beings left in their timeline at the very end of time, go to Nathaniel Richards, aka Kang, and plead with him to try and make a deal. And they say, how about instead of conquering everything, you actually help us save everything? And, in return, we will grant you immortality. Kang then accepts the offer from the 3 Timekeepers, becomes immortal, and then he calls himself Immortus. From here, Immortus would exist in Limbo. That's where he would live, and Limbo is a place that exists outside of space and time. Kind of sounds like the TVA, right? In Limbo is Chronopolis, his home. And this could be where his castle is in the Void. The Void is essentially Limbo, which means that castle could very well be Kang's. Or should should I say, it could be Immortus's. After all, Ravonna Renslayer, who is Kang's lover in the comics, seemed to believe that the Timekeepers were real. And perhaps they were real at some point, but then they died, leaving Immortus to be the ultimate controller of the sacred timeline. However, he kept up the facade of the three Timekeepers. This is what I think we could be seeing tonight. I definitely think Loki is going to be setting up Kang in some way, shape, or form, but I think tonight we'll see Immortus. Honestly, right now, I'm 50-50 on whether or not I think we're going to be seeing King Loki or Immortus. I think since the show is so focused on Loki, that may be who the villain is. But we've had so many Easter eggs for Kang, I don't see how they don't at least set up Kang the Conqueror in the finale or in the post-credit scene of the finale. But let me know your final predictions for who the villain is and what is going to happen in the finale in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. Don't forget to like the video, and for live updates you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
Great. Cosmic Wonder makes excellent videos. I personally think King Loki would be great. King Loki would be great. King Loki, we might see that in episode 7. We might see that in episode 7. We just might. Hope you enjoyed my reaction. Killer Squad. Peace.